Have you ever wondered if the relentless pursuit of what society considers success is actually leading us away from true happiness? We live in an age where the definition of a full life is tied to material possessions, fame, and social status. We are told that happiness is just one step away, waiting for us as soon as we achieve something more. But what if this idea is just an illusion? What if the real secret to a long and fulfilled life lies in something most of us have ignored? Today, we will explore the teachings of Buddhism, an ancient wisdom, and how modern science is confirming these principles of a balanced, deep, and fulfilling life. What you are about to discover could change the way you approach the pursuit of happiness. Pillar 1. The power of the present moment. The secret of serenity. The human mind is, by nature, restless. We cannot help but let it wander from the present, feeding on the past or constantly projecting into the future. This constant movement often pulls us away from serenity, making us feel like we never truly arrive at where we want to be. However, Buddhism teaches us a simple yet profound lesson. True peace is found in the present moment. When we learn to observe our minds without attachment to thoughts, we bring more balance into our lives. This is where the concept of mindfulness comes in. The practice of mindfulness teaches us to be fully present, without losing ourselves in worries, expectations, or past memories. This doesn't mean emptying the mind or denying thoughts, but rather learning to observe them with acceptance, like clouds drifting in the sky. When we practice this, we find that true peace doesn't reside in what is to come or in what has passed, but in the now. And we are not alone in realizing this. Scientists have shown that the practice of meditation and mindfulness can alter how our brains react to stress, making us more balanced and less prone to impulsive reactions. For example, a neuroscience study conducted on Buddhist monks revealed that during meditation, activity in the amygdala, the stress center, decreases, while areas related to mental clarity and decision-making, like the prefrontal cortex, become more active. What's most impressive is that these monks, who meditate regularly, have much lower cortisol levels, the stress hormone, even in high-pressure situations. This shows us that a mind trained to be present not only lives with more peace, but also with greater resilience, a lesson Buddhism has been teaching for millennia. Have you ever felt trapped by the constant desire for more? Have you ever thought that perhaps happiness isn't found in the next conquest, but rather in what you already have? If this concept makes sense to you, subscribe to our channel, like this video, and share it with friends who also need to reflect on the true meaning of happiness. Together, we can learn to live with more gratitude and wisdom. Let's continue exploring these pillars for a more fulfilling life. Pillar 2, the illusion of desire. What do we really need to be happy? If you stop and think about it, you'll realize that dissatisfaction seems to be a constant in our lives. We always want more. When we achieve one goal, the desire to conquer another quickly arises. What seemed to be the key to happiness quickly transforms into just another goal to overcome. Buddhism points out that this endless cycle of seeking and desiring is one of the greatest sources of suffering. Dissatisfaction doesn't stem from the lack of things, but from the attachment to what we cannot control. Imagine, for instance, the story of a fisherman who finds a precious pearl, something he never imagined he would possess. Initially, he feels great joy, but soon that joy turns to fear. He fears losing the pearl, and with that, his life becomes dominated by that fear. The happiness he expected from obtaining the treasure fades, replaced by constant anxiety. Only when he learns to let go, and the monk teaches him not to cling to the object, does the fisherman regain his peace. Detachment, therefore, is not an act of renunciation, but of wisdom. It means learning to let go of what imprisons us, whether it is a material desire or an unrealistic expectation. Science also provides data that confirms this teaching. Studies in positive psychology show that experiences like traveling, learning something new, or spending quality time with friends have a much greater impact on our happiness than material possessions. What truly nourishes us are relationships and meaningful moments, not the things we own. True freedom is not in having more, but in learning to let go. Pillar 3, the invisible roots, the impact of human relationships. Just as trees depend on their roots to grow strong and resilient, we also need deep, genuine connections to thrive. Buddhism teaches us that interdependence is the essence of life. No one lives in isolation, and our relationships are fundamental to our well-being. Modern life, with its fast-paced nature and digital interactions, gives us the false sense of being connected. But in reality, the quality of our real relationships is what determines our happiness. The Harvard study of happiness, which tracked thousands of people over several decades, revealed something surprising. The happiest and healthiest people are not the wealthiest, but those who have deep and meaningful social relationships. Emotional support, love, and friendship have a direct impact on our physical and emotional health. In Buddhism, community or sangha is seen as essential for spiritual growth because it is there that we find mutual support, understanding, and love. Investing in our relationships is not just an act of affection, it's an essential practice for our mental and physical health. Pillar 4, the practice of detachment, the art of embracing impermanence. One of the greatest sources of suffering in life is attachment to the idea that things should be permanent. Buddhism teaches us that impermanence is one of the fundamental laws of existence. Everything is in constant change, and by accepting this reality, we find true freedom. The warrior who feared losing his honor and possessions discovered, after speaking with a monk, that his true battle wasn't on the battlefield, but in his mind. The monk showed him that accepting change, like flowers releasing their petals without resistance, is the key to inner peace. Modern science also points out that accepting impermanence is related to emotional resilience. Research shows that people with a more flexible mindset toward change are more adaptable, experience less anxiety, and handle life's challenges better. It's not about resisting what we cannot control, but learning to flow with change, embracing the unknown without fear. Final reflection: fulfillment is within you now. Each of these pillars invites us to rethink how we live. True happiness is not in the constant pursuit of more, but in the acceptance of what we already have, the cultivation of our relationships, and the ability to live in the present. Serenity, detachment, and acceptance of impermanence provide us with true freedom, a freedom that comes from within and not from external achievements. If you've resonated with this content, it's time to reflect. What are you truly seeking in life? Are you trying to find happiness in something that is always just out of reach? Or are you ready to discover the happiness that already exists in your life, here and now? True fulfillment is not a distant goal, it's a daily choice, and you have the power to start living it today. If you like this content, don't forget to like, subscribe to our channel, and share it with those who need this reflection. Together, we can build a more balanced and fulfilling life based on detachment, serenity, and acceptance. See you in the next video on our journey toward a more conscious life.